Hello guys! On the last Nio day on December 24th, Nio unveiled two new vehicles, one of which was the new refreshed ES8 flagship SUV. In the presentation they have mentioned that the ES8 will have Giga Castings, which are made by the largest die casting machines in the world. I think this is very important news because it means that Nio or its supplier has cracked the code for the material and other technologies used in these large die casting machines. In other words, Tesla is no longer the only company that can use this technology. Also, Nio's ES8 die castings will be made by a bigger die casting machine than Tesla will use in the Cybertruck, which I believe is harder to do. Despite the importance of this news, I have not seen anybody except only carnewschina.com to write or talk about this. And even they were very brief, spending only 2 sentences for this news in their Nio Day summary. In this video I will talk about these ES8 die castings, the die castings in ET5, and also about how Nio is able to apply this new technology economically, while the ES8 is not a large production scale vehicle. Okay, so let us start with the ES8's die castings. And we will check out Nio's webpage because there are some good information here. In this menu system on Nio's webpage, there are these models. And here is the old ES8 and this is the all new ES8. And this page is quite long. But we have to go down almost to the very bottom. And the first picture where I want to stop is this one. Nio says that they are using more than 90% of aluminum in the vehicle's body, which I believe is quite a high number, although I haven't researched other vehicles regarding this aluminum content. And the torsion stiffness is very high, almost 40,000 Newton meters per degree. The torsion stiffness is basically how much force you have to apply for the twisting of the body in order to twist it 1 degree. And the higher this number is, the body is more stiffer and the handling is more enjoyable. And this is actually a very high number. Very few vehicles has higher numbers. This number is not as good as the previous version, but it is still very great. And I mention this because this might be also connected to the die castings in the body. I have noticed that several Nio models have great torsional stiffness, so it is very likely that I will create a separate video about these. But now let us move forward to our main topic, and it is the die casting. Nio says the following about the die castings in the ES8. The world's largest 8800-ton casting machine is used to produce integral-bodied die castings for the first time. 31 parts at the rear have been merged into one die casting, with an impressive projection area of 1.23 square meters. Let us first start with this 8800-ton casting machine. What is this? This is the clamping force which is applied to the die, and this basically determines how much pressure can be inside the die. And I believe it is also related to the size of the whole casting. So the bigger this pressure is, the bigger castings can be produced, in my opinion. Tesla currently uses a 6,000-ton casting machine for the Model Y and Model 3 castings, and they are planning to use an 8,000-ton casting machine for the Cybertruck. So this casting machine, what Nio uses, is even bigger than what Tesla will use for the Cybertruck. And actually, to visualize how big this pressure is, a Model S weighs 2 tons, so 4,400 Model S's on top of each other will result to the pressure what this die casting machine is capable of. It is quite incredible to think about it. The second data is that with these die castings, they are merging 31 parts into one. If you remember, Tesla merged 70 parts, but I don't think we can compare these two numbers too much because different cars are designed in different ways. So it is possible Tesla just used too much for the original Model 3s and Model Ys. And Nio also says that the projection area is 1.23 square meters. I have calculated that this is a 13.24 square feet area for those guys in the US. Unfortunately, I couldn't find any data about how big is the projection area for Model Y. If you know any data about that, please write me in the comments. But the ES8 is not the only Nio vehicle which uses Giga Castings. I have checked some other vehicles as well, and I have only found the ET5 with Giga Castings. We have only limited the information about these castings. CNEV Post writes the following about this. On December 18th, 2021, Nio announced the ET5 sedan. When asked by CNEV Post in an interview on December 19th whether Nio has plans to introduce large die-casting machines in its production line, William Li, founder, chairman and CEO of Nio, did not give a direct answer, but revealed interesting information. He said that we are using an integrated die-casting process for the rear subframe of the ET5. CNEV Post then found, when checking the ET5's technical specifications, that the ET5's rear subframe uses a so-called integrated hollow cast aluminum process. Personally, I do not know what hollow means here, so maybe in the future we will get more information about that. CNEV Post continues, compared to the all-steel welded process, the technology allows for a guaranteed strength increase from 31 kN per degrees to 34 kN per degrees, while reducing weight by 13 kilograms and allowing for 11 liters more trunk space, according to Nio. So here kilonewton-meters just means 1000 newton meters. Please recall that for the new ES8, the torsional stiffness is almost 40 kilonewton meters per degrees. But that is an SUV, so things are different there. I have found slightly different data on Nio's webpage. They are saying that the integral cast rear floor has reduced its mass by 30%, while increasing the trunk space by 7 liters. So it is possible that this 30% is that 13 kilograms. However, they are saying 7 liters here, and CNEV Post says 11 liters. Slight difference. The rest of the data is the same. There is one difference compared to the All New ES8, is that here for the ET5 they are using an ultra-high strength steel aluminum hybrid body. While if you recall, the All New ES8 has a 90% aluminum alloy body. So if you look at this 13 kilograms weight reduction and 11 liters of more trunk space, these are not big improvements in my opinion. Also, this torsional stiffness increase isn't very large, it is about 10%. I'm not saying it's not good, but it's not amazing. You probably know this YouTube channel, The Limiting Factor, and he has this Giga Casting series. I recommend to watch these if you are interested in this topic. And he also made a cost analysis about how much cheaper will be to produce vehicles with these die castings. And as far as I understand, on longer term, there might be a couple of hundreds of dollars cost savings per car with the Giga Castings, which is good. Don't misunderstand me. This is good. And all of these things are good. But to me, these are evolutionary steps and not revolutionary steps in car building. So I am happy that this is happening. But I also don't think that those companies which use Giga Castings will have an unbeatable computational advantage, at least not on the short term. They will have on the long term, very likely. And probably this technology will be very important when cheaper EVs are coming, and there the cost savings will matter much more. For example, now, a couple of hundreds of dollars saving for Tesla, it's good. I'm not saying that it's not good. But currently, they have roughly 15,000 US dollars gross profit per car. So only a very small portion of that can come from these die castings. Okay, this was a little bit an off topic, but this is what I have learned researching these die castings. It is good that we have this technology, but it is not a gigantic step forward. It is a small step forward. Please comment if you don't agree, because the more improvement electric vehicles has, I am the happier. Okay guys, we have arrived now to the last section of our video. Let's talk about how is Nio able to use these large die casting machines economically. As you know, Nio is producing around 15,000 vehicles per month. They may increase that in 2023, but on the ballpark, that is how much they are producing. So let us check out whether it could be economical for Nio to buy one die casting machine and use it by themselves. These die casting machines, at least what IDRA is producing, and I think that Nio will use something similar, or they might use exactly the die casting machines from IDRA. So IDRA machines are capable to produce 1000 castings per day, but according to the Limiting Factor YouTube channel, Tesla may only produce 500 castings per day with these machines, partially because not every casting is successful. There might be some faulty ones, and also there is some downtime for these machines. But I think it is safe to assume that these machines can produce between 500 and 1000 castings per day. So one car has front and rear die casting. That means that one machine can produce die castings for 250 to 500 vehicles per day. If we multiply that by 30, we get 7,500 to 15,000 vehicles per month supplied with the die castings by one machine. So is it worse for Nio to buy a Giga Casting machine and operate it alone? Currently, Nio uses these die castings only at ET5 rare casting, as far as we know. And they will also use large die castings for the ES8. So to me, it doesn't seem economical for them to buy it. Of course, by them, I do not necessarily mean Nio, because Nio doesn't have their own factories, but actually the company which produces their vehicles. So this might not be the best solution, but not impossible. However, another solution can be that a separate supplier company buys these die casting machines, and they are supplying several other companies besides Nio. CNEV Post actually mentions that previous media reports have suggested that 6 Chinese automakers are already planning to use a large die casting facility similar to Tesla. And this article is actually 1 year old. It is from January 2022. So it is possible that one supplier may buy one or several of these large die casting machines and supply several companies, even smaller companies. And one candidate can be this Guangdong Hongtu technology supplier company. It is a Chinese company, and what they have announced a year ago, on January 24th, 2022, is not completely clear. They have either bought this 6,800-ton casting machine, or they have built one. In either case, they will have these casting machines to use. We do not know for sure if they will supply Nio and XPeng with these die castings. But what we know is that they are supplying Nio and XPeng with some parts already, maybe not die casting. So switching to die casting is not a big deal in my opinion. They already have the relationship. So this company seems to be a good candidate for supplying these Giga Castings. What this supplier company did is that they partnered with LK Technology. LK Technology is a Chinese company which also owns IDRA. They also own a Chinese subsidiary called Impress Plus. And Impress Plus seems to make Giga Casting machines very similar to what IDRA builds. But actually there are other companies in the world which produce these large die casting machines. For example, the Swiss company Bühler, which creates die casting machines up to 92,000 kilonewtons, which is equivalent to a 9,200 tons machine. Also, there has been rumors that Tesla may use these Bühler machines. Nevertheless, my point is that it's likely that a supplier will supply Nio with these die castings, and that supplier can be this Guangdong Hongtu technology company. And the good thing is that they are not stopping. They want to go to 12,000 ton super die casting machines, which is a good thing that this technology is still getting better and better. As a summary, I can say that it is good that Nio is using Giga Castings in ET5 production, although we do not know how big that casting is. That means that Nio already has access to the technology similar what Tesla has, and that means that other companies will come in the near future into this area. Also, the ES8 will use the largest die castings so far, which is significantly bigger than what Tesla uses currently in the Model Y and Model 3. And I also think that suppliers might have a role in producing these die castings, which is actually a good thing because then smaller companies can more easier transition to this technology. I also think that although this technology has several small advantages, it doesn't have an extremely big advantage overall. So although I think that it is good that Tesla moved to this direction, and it is good to see other companies moving to this direction, but this is not something what knocks out the competition immediately. So I think other companies which have not transitioned yet to this technology still have time to transition. Giga castings are mostly important on the long term in my opinion. Also, we have to acknowledge that this is a new technology, so some problems can come out a couple of years from now when the vehicles which are produced now are getting older. Sometimes problems are coming out 5, 6, 7 years from the production. So let's hope everything goes well and the world can be better with this technology. Okay, we have arrived to the end of this video. If you liked it, please don't forget to comment, share and give it a thumbs up. And if you like the channel, don't forget to subscribe. Thank you.